Did you know that Garrosh was the greatest Warchief of all time? Just not in our timeline. You see, in the Mag'har Orc recruitment scenario, Anachronos the Bronze Dragon tells us, in countless potential timelines, he was seen as a great hero to his people. Some called him the Horde's greatest Warchief. What you saw here was one of his worst possible incarnations, a waste. In a majority of other timelines in which Garrosh was alive and didn't die from the plague, he became an excellent Warchief just like what Thrall said he'd be, and even united the Horde in alliance and ended hostilities. The Garrosh we got was literally just the worst possible version. If you were to time travel to a random other timeline in the Warcraft universe during the same time period, there's a good chance the timeline you come across would be a peaceful one led by Garrosh. If we happen to meet a dead version of Garrosh in the Shadowlands, there's probably a high chance that we'll meet a good one, since the one we got in our timeline is a rare exception, not the rule. And it's almost hilarious that one of the most hated villains in Warcraft could have so easily gone in a different direction. Now, some hints of this can be seen in Cataclysm during the very first iteration of Garrosh's Warchief, as if you quest in the Stonetalon Mountains, at the end of the quest chain an orc bombs a Night Owl village, and Garrosh comes down himself in order to reprimand him for his mistake, and even lectures him about how that's not how the Horde does things, even though he does something even worse just one expansion later.
Watch now, Cliffwalker, as this battle comes to its glorious conclusion.
You are about to cross a terrible threshold, Cromgar. May the Earth Mother have mercy on your soul.
What have you done, Cromgar?
Warchief, I was carrying out your command.
My command? Was my command to murder innocents, Cromgar?
Warchief, sir,
Am I a murderer, Cromgar?
No, Warchief!
Then I ask you again, what have you done? I sent you into Stonetalon Mountains with an army. Your orders were to secure this land for the Horde. Instead, you laid waste to the land, murdered innocents, children even. I spent a very long time in Northrend, Cromgar. I learned much about the Horde in that time. While there, a wise old war hero told me something that I would carry with me forever. Honor, Cromgar. No matter how dire the battle, never forsake it. Overlord Cromgar, you have disgraced the Horde. You have brought shame to us as a people. By my right as Warchief, I hereby relieve you of duty. You are dismissed! And you...
Wait, Warchief, please. This is the hero responsible for uncovering this corruption. This one tried to stop Cromgar. Have mercy, Warchief.
Mercy? Your wife and child were murdered. Your kin wiped out. Your home burned to the ground. Mercy. Chieftain, on this day, I learn from you. Cromgar's army is no more. Your rank no longer has meaning. If you wish to truly help the Horde, your considerable power could be used in Desolace or in the Southern Barrens. The choice is yours to make. Let honor guide you. Do not forget that Hellscream's eyes are always upon you.
And in an interview with the developer who created that quest chain, he talks about how the direction for Garrosh wasn't really communicated well to everyone while writing the quests, including himself. Because you see, when they first introduced Garrosh to the game, they had planned for him to be a perfect version of Grom Hellscream. So they had really wanted to add him to the game, but couldn't since he was already dead. So they thought they had an excellent opportunity with the son of Grom, and wanted him to be more like the polar opposite of Thrall in personality, but still wanted what was best for the Horde, just to give more contrast to Thrall. But as development and story went along, Thrall kind of went in another direction than they originally planned, and Garrosh couldn't really be his opposite anymore. So they shifted gears and decided to make him more like the Horde's version of Varian instead, who himself was very brash and aggressive during this time period. So when the developer went off to write the Stonetalon quest, he still remembered the future plans they had for Garrosh from when he was first created, and kind of created the quest chain based on that. And then after it was all done and out, he found that they had kind of changed the direction of Garrosh into something else, and that there was a huge miscommunication that was never cleared up because they didn't think they had to clear it up with one of the people who helped create Garrosh in the first place. A quote from an interview he did with Blizzard Watch: "I did Stonetalon. I didn't think the path with Garrosh, not everyone was on board. Not everyone got the memo, as it were, as we were designing, and that was my fault. Because because I was actually trying to bring Garrosh around, and Stonetalon was going to be the first of that. Cataclysm was a pretty crazy time period for us. We did quite a lot of work, so I feel like there was a little bit of miscommunication on my part that kind of led to Garrosh going down another, darker path. So there's an interesting tidbit for you." The interviewer goes on to say, "It was interesting though, in the aspect of seeing that glimmer of what could have been. Well, he was good at the other way, he did well at that, he was a good killer and plunderer and murderer." So really, the mention of Garrosh in the Mag'har Orc scenario could just be a reference to Garrosh's original design idea. It was originally meant to be a heroic and honorable character, and a way for them to introduce some of the old leaders of the Horde without having to bring them back to life. And this change was supposed to happen in Cataclysm, but then Blizzard decided to change their mind on that, and not everyone got the memo. But this doesn't change the fact that, canonically, the timeline we take place in is one of the worst ones, which is probably why there's so many world-ending scenarios happening all the time. Although, all the other timelines can probably thank our timeline for defeating the Legion, which was a threat that threatened all of the timelines, so something good came out of it. Now, I'm curious about everyone else's opinion on Garrosh. Personally, I think he's a great character. He's just a really good character to hate. And I think it's a hilarious contrast that he's loved in all the other timelines, to the point where I can't even see it happening. Do you think we should have an in-game scenario where we could go to one of these other timelines to see and get a glimpse of what could have been? Definitely not another time travel expansion, but something to get more information on the perfect version of Garrosh. This video was edited by the Flying Buttress. Links to his channel and stuff in the video description if you liked his work. And also, fun fact, did you know only 28.5% of people who watch these videos are actually subscribed to the channel?